It was a normal day at school and you were learning one of the many boring subjects. You were drawing in your notebook, not paying attention as usual. All you could hear was the distant mumbling of Izawa and the sound of your pencil against the paper. You looked at your phone to see how long it was till the end of the day. Unfortunately, Izawa had noticed. Put your phone away. I don't care for any excuses you have at all. He sighed and carried on. Now, as I was saying, you will have to be put into pairs for a project. The project will be about hero laws. All Might was the one who put you in pairs, so if you are with someone you don't like, then you're gonna have to deal with it. He took then out a piece of paper and started to read it. These pairs have been set up by your scores on recent tests. The highest will go with the lowest, and so on. He started to say the pairs one by one. Some were happy and others not so much. LN, you will be paired with Bakugo. At first you didn't realize what he had said, but after a few seconds you realized and mentally screamed. You were paired with Bakugo. This was one of the best moments of your life, but you weren't so sure about Bakugo. He was quiet and seemed like he didn't care at all. It was a bit sad that he might not like you, but you would make him if you had to. You had always had a crush on him, but never told anybody about it. Aizawa sighed once again. For the last remaining minuets here, I would like you to discuss your project with your partner. He then crawled into a sleeping bag. You looked towards Bakugo as he started to walk towards you while dragging a chair behind him. When he got to you, he placed it in front of him and sat down. It was awkward for a few seconds. All you could do was stare at your drawings. That was until a huge hand covered the page. Hey, are you even listening to me? You looked at the boy with confusion. I guess you weren't. Look, you're coming to my house tomorrow at 2 p.m., okay? Nobody will be there to distract us. And you better be there on time or I'll set you on fire. At that moment the bell rang and before he left he wrote his address in your notebook. He had then got up and left. You were then the last in the class. You got up and packed everything away. You started to walk home thinking of everything that could happen round his house. You imagined what it looked like. It would possibly be one of the best places you have ever been to. You thought about how to bring up the subject. That you had a crush on him. It would be difficult, but no matter what you knew it would go well, and if you were wrong then it would be a really long awkward day. After a few minuets you arrived home. You unlocked the door and walked into the living room. I'm home. You shouted, but there was no answer. They must have went out without me. Again. Unbelievable. Your parents done this quite a lot since you moved to UA, so you should be used to it by now, but no matter what, it was annoying. They would leave you way too much now, so you wouldn't really have a lot of things to do. Nobody would really come round either, so it was quite boring. You threw yourself onto the couch inside. Your eyes started drifting and you quietly fell asleep. Time skip. Brought to you by a lazy-ass writer. Your phone started to ring as you woke up and rubbed your eyes. You answered without looking and started to talk. Hello, who is it? There was silence. What do you mean? Who is it? Anyway, shouldn't I be asking where you are? You had just noticed who was on the phone and didn't realize what time it was. You had then hung up. Got changed as quickly as possible. A and D sprinted to his place as fast as you could. You got to the house and roughly knocked on the door, and a pissed of Bakugo opened it up. I am so sorry. I was sleeping and I didn't realize the time until you called. You quickly covered your mouth at sudden embarrassment. The boy rolled his eyes. Whatever. Just hurry up and get inside. You walked through the door and like you thought. It was amazing. You sat down on the couch and looked around the living room. Bakugo sat down next to you. So where do you want to start? Well, you weren't here. I was trying to think of somewhere to start, but I couldn't think of anything. He gave you a stern look towards you and you could feel your face heat up. You looked away and shrugged your shoulders. You're a lot of help, aren't you? The boy said sarcastically. Maybe we could start off with things that everybody knows. Like a hero must have a hero's license before they injure a villain of any sort. Then we can go into more serious laws. Yeah. The room was silent for a while. That sounds like an alright idea. How about you go to my room and I'll make some food? It seems like we will be doing this for a while. He then told you where his room was and the walk towards the boy's room. You opened the door and looked around the room. It was a decently sized room. There was a bed, laptop, desk, television, etc. You noticed there were some papers on the desk and a folder. Curiously, you walked over to the desk to look at what they were. There were drawings on the pieces of paper of his costume, and there is writing covering the rest of them. You picked up one of the pieces and read one of the lines. "If I keep this up, someone's going to find out." You were curious as to what it meant, but you just thought it was from a story he was writing and tossed it to one side. Your eyes had slowly started drifted towards the folder. Your hands started to move towards the folder and slowly open it. You saw pictures of a girl and Bakugo. You continued to look through the pictures. One was taken in his room and she looked slightly worried. You looked at the next photo. As soon as you saw it, you dropped everything you were holding and it made a loud noise. This is where parts get weird, by the way. The girl had deep cuts in her skin. Her eyes were lifeless and she had nothing on. Blood covered the floor. The rest of the photos were on the floor and what you saw made you freeze. There were different girls in the photos. They all started off with smiles. Slightly worried expressions, then death. You were about to run out of the house and get somebody to help, but Bakugo walked into the room. He dropped the plate he was holding, and it smashed into small pieces. He then started to storm towards you. He grabbed a fistful of your hair and threw you to the floor. You were about to scream, but he quickly covered your mouth with his hand. You didn't know what to do at all. You were frozen. You were breathing heavily as warm tears rolled down your face. The boy looked furiously towards you. "What the fuck are you doing? I don't think you know what you have gotten yourself into now. I can't let you get out alive," he said closely to your ear in a low, husky voice. More hot tears streamed down your face. You were scared as to what would happen. He had then ripped your trousers and underwear off of you. Bakugo had then unzipped his trousers and took off his boxers, revealing his member. He started to rub it against your womanhood and without warning thrust it into you. He didn't stop thrusting for a single second. He used his quirk and left burns on your thigh. It hurt, you wanted to scream, but no sound could be made. It was awful, and knowing you wouldn't get out at all. After a while, he had came inside of you. His breathing became heavy and low. He slowly got off of you and grabbed one of the shattered shards on the floor. Bakugo then wiped away the tears and brung the shard against your neck. He then gave a slight smile. "Good night, princess." Everything then slowly started to turn dark. Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss anything I post.